There's a new feature in Clip Studio Paint that is super useful. Time-lapse recording. It is like one of the things, why isn't this in every application? Because what it does, it records every stroke and work that you do. Brilliant. So now first thing to do, File and New. So go File and New, and you just got, obviously you could do all the various standard things you do, widths, etc. But down the bottom, Record Time-Lapse. Just down there, it's tucked away a bit. Slightly unusual position, just right down the bottom in the corner there. So just click that and then click OK. Now, and I'm just going to obviously apply a brush. I'm not going to do anything fancy, but just do a quick, and have a character do whatever. Something very simple. Well, once you've done that, then you can go and think, well, let's go and see File and Time-Lapse. And you've got Record Time-Lapse, and of course you can see it's on. Now I can turn it off if I want, but what I can also do is export Time-Lapse. So export Time-Lapse, and you can see it. Obviously it's very quick, so you can, I just pause it there, so you can just see it just as it creates that design. And you can also change, obviously, length. Obviously, it's not very long. So if I went for a like 5-minute one, if I've been doing this for 5 minutes, and then say, it would actually say length like 15 seconds or something. So it would just do only a little bit of it. And then you can set the size. You obviously can reduce it down if you don't want the full thing. And also you can change the aspect ratio. So once you've done that, you can click OK. So once you've done that, it obviously comes up with, take a few seconds, and it will then give you, obviously, and I'm just going to call it comic2_video, and it's an mp4. So it's an mp4 format, which is very useful, and then click Save. Now if I just say hide Clip Studio Paint, and you go there, and you can see my little video there. So mp4, and now I can just click on that. Comes up, start up, eventually it starts up, and you can see then, not the most original, but there you can see your time-lapse. It's really quite a nice feature, really useful. So you can like use this for maybe tutorials, demonstrating certain work you're doing to people. You know, people can see the progress. You can teach people obviously how to draw certain things. Obviously, you could do maybe very detailed, showing like arms or legs, and really showing the fine work, which you people can then look at it, go back and study your work very closely. And also many other uses, I'm certain. I mean, I think it's just great. I'd love to see it in Photoshop, love to see it in Illustrator. I would love to see it in all applications. However, Clip Studio Paint's got it. So just going to close that and then just go back to Clip Studio Paint. So it's simple as that. Now, if you go here to File and Time-Lapse, you can just go there, Record Time-Lapse, because you've just done it. Now if I continue on, so I'll just do a bit more work, and I'm just going to change the colour. So just quickly draw there, and maybe go and select some other, there's pens up there, just select that one, and maybe just apply, I say very quickly. It's nothing spectacular, is it? But, and then you can obviously, you can see you got that design like that. Okay, so I've done that, and then of course what you can do again, go to File and Time-Lapse and export Time-Lapse. And this time you can see, again, obviously it's got a little bit more than you had before. Now of course you can see it's quite fast, but of course you can go to many applications like Premiere or whatever. There's loads of video applications where you can import the mp4 format, and then just simply change the time, make it slower, maybe add some effects to it so it's not just like that. And you can do whole heaps of things. So this could be useful for adding to other videos. Maybe you could create like 10 or 15 of these sort of similar images, blend them all together in combination to create some very weird sort of imagery, maybe using different materials, different designs. Literally thousands of possibilities here. It would be nice if there were a few more features here. Like I say, with the time, it'd be nice if you could slow it down here, but that feature isn't here. So you have to go to another application. And again, click OK and save it to comic there, and say video 1 mp4. And it's saved again to an mp4, which you can then bring into After Effects, Premiere, etc. And of course, if you want to stop it, you don't want to do this anymore, so record time lapse, just simply click that and it will come up with a thing saying this will turn off the canvas time lapse recording. Any time lapse recording will be deleted. This action cannot be undone. Delete and turn off. So it will just do that. Simple as that. You don't lose any of your work. It doesn't suddenly cause your work to disappear. But now the time lapse record. Now, of course, what you can do, of course, you can always go to File and Time Lapse and record time lapse. And this will turn on canvas time lapse. And then, of course, what you can do, you can then obviously add, and I'm just going to quickly do very quickly, maybe use a different, maybe one of these brushes there, and you can just see apply different designs, change the colour, maybe go back to that pen, and so on and so on. A whole range of different things you can see, add some more designs there, whatever. Obviously got red hair there. Now, once you've done that, what you can see, then you can of course go to File and Time Lapse and export time lapse. At this point, you can see what you've got is obviously layers on top of the original design. So you don't have to have it right from the start. You could do it at some point halfway along. You suddenly think, well, you know what, I've got the design there, but I just have that bit. And you could sort of then build up layers. So you could like do time lapse 1, time lapse 2, time lapse 3, time lapse 4, all of different stages, which you can then blend maybe into layers, maybe like in Photoshop or something. You've got layers for animations. So you could just add on top of each other, maybe move them on and add effects to them at different levels. There's like infinite possibilities you could do with this brilliant new feature, Export Time-Lapse. I think it's a great feature, thoroughly enjoyable, and I've enjoyed messing around with it, obviously spend a little bit more time and accuracy creating designs than my design there, but you know, that's just a very quick drawing, just as an example. So, and of course you could do other things as well. You've got like text, gradients, you could time lapse those as well. So it doesn't have to be an actual drawing. So obviously I'm going to cancel at this point. So say you decide, let's stop it again. I'm just going to show you. You can just go record time lapse. So, okay, delete, turn off. Again, it's turned off. What you can then go to is gradient. So there's a gradient one. I'm just going to go to graphs. Just going to use one gradient. But then what I'm doing, File and Time Lapse, record Time Lapse. Again, click OK. And then I can just add. Obviously, it's very quick. I'm not doing it with any great finesse. And you can see the designs that I'm just adding there. And you could add, say, 20 or 30 or maybe more, maybe other effects. Maybe add some filters in as well. So filter and blur, Gaussian blur. Can't do that one, obviously, for some reason. However, you can do a whole heap of things. I'm saying you can flatten it and, well, let's have a go. Layer, and I can merge, flatten image. Let's just merge, flatten image, and now do filter and Gaussian blur. I'm just going to go there, Gaussian blur, click OK. So you've got that. Right, well, what you can then do, of course, you can go back to File and Time Lapse, and you can say Export Time Lapse. Now, of course, it's not going to have all the original design, but then straight away you've got this. So you've got this very odd sort of visual design, which may be not what you want, but you can create some really abstract designs, which you can then obviously import maybe into Photoshop or After Effects or Premiere, and then manipulate with video effects to add some sort of weird, wonderful designs on top of these gradients. So I think this time-lapse feature is just a creative godsend, and I'm really pleased they've added this feature. So hopefully all the other applications will start to add this sort of feature. So Clip Studio Paint, this is a new one in the latest version, and I'm just going to quickly say about Studio Paint, and this is 1.10.5. So as long as you got that, you will have this feature. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Please subscribe to the Graphic Extra channel. Always adding new tutorials about, obviously, Clip Studio Paint. Not as many as I would like, but I do I probably will start using it a lot more with this feature. I think this is going to be great. Photoshop, Illustrator, of course, and many, many others. Also, please add some comments. Always appreciated. It's always nice to hear, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? I must have a tendency sometimes to go off on my own subjects. So my apologies for that. A dislike or like. Thank you much.